Now that's a salmon fisherman. An efficient one, too, I might add. These boats you're seeing on your screen are all commercial salmon boats. Some more efficient than others. Nevertheless, each and every one out there trying to make a living. These pictures you're seeing are vintage and memorable shots. They're pictures of boats fishing back in the good old days. Back in the 70s, 80s, some before that, when a man could buy a salmon boat and work hard, fish 7 months a year, and make a living. Those were the good old days. They're gone now. However, there's one man, Michael McHenry, on the Merva W., perhaps the greatest salmon fisherman ever, at least in my book, who's trying to change things. He wants to change things back to the way they were. He wants to do something about it. He's put it on his bucket list to change things back to the way they were. Like back in these days when boats rafted up in Eureka in front of the VD Club. Back when the Yukon gang, this group of guys right here, fished 8 hours a day and made good livings just salmon fishing in the summer. Rafted at bodega like this. It's what Mike McHenry right here is trying to do in his new program with the California Department of Fish and Game salmon biologists, loading the hatchery fish and barging the smolt salmon from the hatcheries down the river and letting them go underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and thus eliminating all the predators and obstacles they encounter in between. Here's Michael now, coming under the Tower Bridge in Sacramento, on his way up at the beginning of this venture. He's making his way past the Delta Queen. All of this is downtown Sacramento. He goes on up another 8 or so miles to the Coast Guard dock, which is by the Virgin Sturgeon and some other restaurants. Ties up there at the Coast Guard dock, and the next day makes it another 11 miles up the river to Elkhorn Landing, which is about as far as a fishing boat can go, where he meets up with the Fish and Game, and this joint venture begins. This is how it starts, with them loading up at Elkhorn Landing. They ready to start putting them in the boat?
Yep.
Takes. And are you the biologist?
A biologist.
Are you going to be riding down on the boat?
No, Colin. That's Colin Purdy. He's pretty much been running this program from the Fish and Game office.
Can I put you on camera, Colin? Just for a minute.
Just don't ask him to talk. That's
So you're gonna take 100,000 down on the boat. You're gonna let 100,000 go right here at the end of the ramp, and 100,000 from the hatchery.
100,000 are going to be released from another one of those trucks, but they're going to drive out to basically the Golden Gate.
Okay.
And we're going to do simultaneous releases. We're going to release the fish out of the boat, and we're going to release these fish into the bay from the truck. So the releases are on shore from the truck and from the boat. So it'll be a simultaneous release, essentially. So we can say how well we can compare release strategies. Fish that have been transported by boat here with water circulating the whole way down, as compared to fish that are released directly into the bay, survival, how much they're straight.
Well, the idea of how you're going to get the best return. How you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So, you released them in the bay before truck come down and let them go?
Because of the noise, here's a bit hard to understand. He talks about the current release strategy is to truck the fish from the Feather River hatchery down to the Carquinez Straits where they have holding or release pins, and they put them there for a period of time. He didn't say how long, I assume days or maybe weeks, and so they can acclimate, and then they let them go from there. It hasn't worked. The fish have been confused and returned to the wrong places. Moreover, a fact that he doesn't mention is the return of salmon has been less than 1% dismal, which is why everybody is so anxious to try this new method.
Took them downriver like this. How long are you going to take? Are you going to go real slow? When do you plan on releasing them under the bridge?
It's going to be tomorrow. We have an outgoing tide at the Golden Gate about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to get out there and wait for the fish transport truck to get out there. There's going to be a phone contact. We're ready to release and start releasing.
Okay. So, somebody said maybe 2 or 3 days. You didn't get that long to figure it out. So you think just up to 2 months right now is enough for them to get in front?
Yeah, we got pretty good flows right now, so these fish will go out and move out of the system with these high flows. It'll probably take us, I guess, 9 or 10 hours to get out to the Carquinez Straits again.
It's hard to understand, but he knows what he's talking about. He's talking about the outgoing flow of water out of the Sac is great right now, and they're going to spend the night once they get down to the Carquinez Straits. They spend the night at Benicia, and there's an outgoing tide in the afternoon, and they'll hit that.
My name is Rob. Colin Purdy. P-U-R-D-Y.
Talking with Mr. Purdy and looking around at the other biologists and Fish and Game personnel, everyone was excited. They were optimistic. They were doing something good and right for a change, and the spirit was in the air.
Wow, you got enough water?
Yeah, what's that?
You have enough water in the river?
Boom, barely.
Barely?
Fast.
How much did it drop since you've been here?
It was 4 feet coming up last night. I'm going to be 1.5 foot down, and it's 1.5 foot. Probably going to have that much under us in a couple of spots. And the river's dropping. Hi, Mike.
Andrew, I called you yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure you're very busy. So.
We're not circulating now. It's half full. We'll see the rest of the trip.
Yeah, right up there, like 20. Right. Yeah, because they've been acclimated to smaller crowds. Okay, well, we have the cameras. We're going to shoot some pictures and some video. Like the operation you got.
Well, hopefully.
That's what I heard.
It wasn't that big of a changeover for us to do this. Obviously, this all works.
Yeah, sure. It works for you guys. So we hope.
Should get a little shallower boat though.
Yeah. Okay. Shallower, wide.
Short, wide boat.
I I know I'm on a important project. You didn't show up.
Hey,
You guys gonna go for help, right?
I'm not going. I'm just checking it out. He's going and he's
We're going to be on the boat.
Okay, so is he stopping real vessel there?
We're going to stop probably, depends how fast we go, how the bridge operations go, and everything we'll see. We're probably going to be somewhere around the Coquina Straits, somewhere in the lake up out there, somewhere today, I'm assuming. Yeah, if everything goes good, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, we have to get out of here.
Shallowest spot right where we can went. If everything goes right, you know, that should be down there. It's 9 hours to come up. The extra hour and a half here, 10.5. But we got a lot of tide going down. Yeah, a lot of current. Well, maybe, yeah, let's think of 9.
I've been on here since Friday.
Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Rob.
You want to say anything to the camera?
I'm just so grateful to be here. Thank you for this opportunity to save some salmon.
Save the fish.
Come on, you guys, spool up. Look at how pretty they are. Uh-oh, there is a dead one.
Launch the pipe! Launch the pipe!
14 of them.
They've just dumped the first truckload of 100,000 into the boat, but they're still fishing a pipe, and they've backed another truck in, and they're flushing a couple hundred gallons through it to wash the fish in the pipe out and into the hole.
That's why they want to flush the pipe.
Yeah, that's good.
Get those pushed out.
Circulation that's in here is that they're dying in the pipe. Hurry up!
I know, they're dying in the pipe. 14 people, come on.
Here you can see the I-5 bridge in the background. It's
They look happy.
just near the turnoff that goes to the Sacramento Airport, and it's about 6 miles downriver from the Feather River Hatchery where these fish came from.
A lot of them are coming out of the pipe.
The fish, you know, they always swim the mark in the tank.
They're down, so they might not when this starts to run out.
Oh, you got underwater photography, Abner?
Oh yeah, he's got it all.
Abner does not screw around.
Abner is the man.
Well, in the beginning they do. Oh yeah. These guys went down.
I know, I thought they would, I can't even tell, you can't even tell if they're schooled up or what, how their truck back down there yet.
Fish coming out of there.
There's a lot more fish coming out of there.
You don't have a monitor, you're just sort of shooting in the blind?
I'm just watching.
I don't with this setup. I have one that I can just get out. Not set up today.
Not
No, are they looking strapped? Any way to tell if there's any more fish coming out of that pipe? Well, we can take the end off though.
Yeah, let's get that off of there. Ready?
Yeah, that's more than enough. I think we're done.
I think we're good.
Here's your clamp. Here, Porter, give me that elbow.
Okay. So lose a couple fish on the deck here, but you have to pull that pipe through.
Eric, you want to bust that loose so we can get this pipe out and the net in?
Let's see, what do we have, the red end in or out? In.
He's gonna cut the pipe.
This man with the goatee and the gray sweatshirt, the black goatee and the camouflage hat right behind Michael is Bill Smith, who runs the McHenry River Fish Hatchery. I'm told he's very good at what he does, and he has a keen interest in the outcome of this project because he wants to see the fish that he raises survive.
Sorry,
What do you think, Bill? I can go by. Well, I need to shoot the video.
But they're gonna go right through.
In the background there behind Mike is Carol Oz. She takes water samples and checks for salinity and other chemical properties that I'm not really sure about, but she's a professional at what she does, and she rode the boat down and put up with all the boys the whole trip, so she's quite a gal.
Got anything you want to add to the film? You want to, say something to this? This is a documentary. Where's who? Tracy. Yeah. Oh, Tracy Lord. Oh. I don't know, Captain Mike. Where is she?
Okay, so there they go. So with that, the Merva W is loaded and headed downriver. All the salmon are protected by the hull. They won't get eaten by bass. They won't get eaten by pumps, farmers, or otherwise, birds, other predators. They'll all make it. Here they come. This is the other 100,000. So into the Sac River system they go. They're about 6 miles from the Feather River Hatchery, where they're being released here, which is the finger pier at Elkhorn Landing, just by the I-5 bridge, and even with the airport. These 100,000 are going to fend for themselves. It's going to be interesting to see what their return rate is as compared to those that are trucked down and those that are boated down. Here comes Michael around the bend. He's about halfway between the I-5 bridge and the Virgin Sturgeon. Steaming downstream. It was commented on why wasn't there press? Nobody thought to call them, and it was one of those things they should have, because it's a positive thing for a chain. Not all things are positive in the fishing, the ecological world. Told the fishing game guys they have access to the records. They should look up Mike McHenry and see his salmon landing records over the years, and I bet him that he would be probably top dog in that department. More landings than anybody else in here. He's the guy that's returning fish to the ocean. Is it karma? Is it just doing the right thing? I want to think it's just doing the right thing. That's what I want to say. They got the fishing game guys on the back deck. Porter on the back deck. Hey, Abner! Hey, Porter! I've got chairs and a table Michael asked for. I don't know if he still can get them. And with the miracle of cell phone technology, we talked, and they slowed down when they went by the Virgin Sturgeon, and Abner grabbed the table and chairs with the Zodiac and threw them on the boat. And he's got his own film boat. There's Abner taking some pictures. Got his own film crew. Well, besides me. Abner chasing him, taking pictures. It's April 29th.
The trick is to never look at the camera.
No, but you can look at it because this is a documentary interview.
You're not gonna look at that thing?
At the.
It's like the dentist.
It's April 20. It's April 29th, 2012. What are your predictions for yourself and your salmon season coming up? Do you think you'll get any fish? You think you know?
Go ahead, document it, honey.
Do you have any idea how many fish you might catch this year?
I got a couple of inklings, Rob. I don't want to just come right out with it now because I'll probably get corked, but I think maybe possibly the second or third day, if things work out the way I've calculated over my years of fishing, I could possibly have a very good day.
Like, well, can you put a number on it? You know, can you, you know, like just take a wild stab?
Well, I'm gonna, if you want numbers, not poundage,
Yeah, number. How many fish?
I'm gonna say somewhere between 50 and 100,000.
50 and 100,000 salmon fish on your first day.
Yeah, and we're gonna get probably 2/3 of them on the first tack. So it's gonna be real big.
I think that's a pretty bold statement, but
It's worth a back tack though.
I will check back with you on you know, the third or the fourth day of season and see if you accomplish this. Can I hang out, you know, and maybe watch you on this day?
Very
Hey, we can't let him see the kind of bait we're using.
Oh, what are you going to use for bait?
that's confidential.
Confidential. Yeah.
I used to be quite liberal with that, but all those guys turned around and put me in a sack. So I 53 years to tell the Elkhorn.
Okay. Well, I can respect that. Yeah. All right. Okay. So where would you suggest I go opening day?
As far out to the west, you should do that.
Just keep going to the west? Okay, thanks.
Find the dark water edge.
In the dark water edge. All right.
Water edges are hard to find, but they are around.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We'll get back with you in a few days and see how that goes. With Abner motoring the Zodiac around taking a lot of pictures, Merva W. low in the water, snaked past Clarksburg, slid right by Howard Landing, waved at everybody at Rio Vista on the way by, then looping around, ultimately anchored at Benicia, the head at Carquinez Strait. Next morning we motor out of Fort Baker. That pier on the right is where Group 3 fish are going to be dumped. If you look closely off in the distance, you can see the truck park that will pull out on that pier and dump simultaneously while we dump under the North Tower. Here, the guys are removing the protective tube and netting that kept the fish from slopping out of the hold, as well as washing overboard down the discharge tube. Next, out comes the crowder, that blue net you see. It's got poles on each end. It's got corks on the top and those cork floats and chain on the bottom. And they just stick the poles down into the fish hole and work it. The boys are working it now. They work it so that the fish are gently pushed, crowded, and raised toward the discharge pipe. And you can see them now. The guys on the left are helping to pull the blue netting up and crowding the fish. You can, if you look close, you can see a few flopping. They're all going out the discharge. You see them there. You can see a few little ones. There they go, headed for sea. See, they're hitting the water and they're all going straight down, headed that direction under the bridge and out to sea, where they'll feed and grow and hopefully get fat, and a few get caught by commercial salmon fishermen. Meanwhile, a much larger percentage make it back up the Sac River system and to the Feather River Hatchery and get spawned out by the experts there, so that we have a tremendous return in a few years. There are many heroes in this joint venture, also many factions. Right here is Dennis Carlin, maybe the final link in the chain of organizations and people that put this operation together. And Dennis is a San Francisco sports fisherman and He took Mike on a pioneer voyage on his sport boat, and they ran their fathometer, and he showed Mike that the trip could indeed be made with a deep draft Merva W. Thank you, Dennis. We couldn't have done it without you. Very important and crucial to the success of this trip is Colin Wing. Here he is standing down in water in the fish hole holding a live drill. And his friend, John Yakomizu, who worked diligently and hard on his last day where he was supposed to be at his retirement party. And the MVP award goes to marine biologist for Fish and Game, Colin Purdy. Does anyone notice the resemblance between him and Mike McHenry? I'm Rob Tillitz, and this is me a number of years ago, decades ago, and I've put this story together for you, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Here's Michael and I, decades ago, and he's the one that not only organized the Z Squad and many fishermen to do many things, he put this operation together, this joint venture with the Fish and Game to bring things back to the way they were. You're looking at a number of Z Squatters and friends of Michael's. Here's the Dago, Ed Nurley, God rest his soul. He was there. A fine bunch of boys right here, and one girl too. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for everything. You've been an inspiration.